everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, outbreak, leptospirosis on the rise. Don't do it. Officials warn against lighting fires after cave blaze in Westmoreland. Road wrangle, businessman claims a road project led to flooding of his business. And later on in the business report, Pan Jam Group records strong third quarter earnings. And later in sports, 19 wickets fall on day 1 of first Ashes test. Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7 for Friday, November 21, 2025. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amoy Harriet. Up first this evening, the government says it's stepping up cleanup and public health measures to tackle what it has now declared a leptospirosis outbreak following 6 deaths suspected to be linked to the disease. Authorities say both confirmed and suspected cases have now been detected across 8 parishes, with St. James recording the highest numbers. Scenes like this are everywhere in Western Jamaica, residents trying to build back what Melissa took from them. But amid the lingering debris, floodwaters and stagnant conditions, new health threats are beginning to emerge. The government has declared a leptospirosis outbreak with an increase in the number of confirmed and suspected cases post-Melissa.
There are 9 cases that are confirmed, 28 suspected or probable cases, and these numbers are from October 30th, 2025 to November 20, 2025. The numbers reflect significantly more cases than the 2 to 21 cases observed in the preceding 34 months. There have been 6 deaths from among the suspected cases. There are no deaths from among the confirmed or probable cases at this time. 8 parishes have confirmed and or suspected cases. St. Anne, St. Mary, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. Catherine, and Trelawney, with additional reported cases under investigation.
The majority of the affected individuals are in St. James, which accounts for 17 of the 37 confirmed and suspected cases. The parish has also recorded 2 of the 6 deaths. St. James is followed by St. Anne with 6 cases and St. Elizabeth with 4. Notably, most of those impacted so far are male. Dr. Jacqueline Besesa McKenzie is Chief Medical Officer in the Health Ministry.
Pools of water have become contaminated with urine and body fluids of infected animals. And of course, where it is that before Hurricane Melissa, you would have occupational exposure, meaning persons that work in farms, etc. Now everybody has a likelihood of being exposed because everybody is cleaning up and a lot of persons are in those waters.
I think the greatest risk right now is the stagnant water, the solid waste in the communities, and combined, of course, with the rodents and other carcasses or animals, livestock, that would be infected and how that contaminates the environment, your water, your food, and otherwise.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tofton said the government is taking a multi-ministry approach to tackle the outbreak, including increased water supply from the Water Ministry and increased cleanup operations by the local government and Community Development Ministry.
If you look at the history of leptospirosis, even with Melissa, there was a spike in the numbers. So you expect this kind of risk to be at a greater level of elevation after an event. So the health authorities, in a sense, had started planning before we got to this point, recognizing that we would see increased risks. So it's not unusual. It's not something that we should panic about. It's not a call to panic. It's really a call to action for prevention in the first instance. Knowledge, maybe in the first instance, prevention in the second instance, and of course, treatment, thirdly, if those symptoms should arise. And so I urge the country, the population, on behalf of the Jamaican government, to see this as an advisory for collaboration.
Tonight, a new crisis is unfolding in the community of Cave in Westmoreland, even as residents continue to pick up the pieces following the destructive passage of Hurricane Melissa. A major fire has erupted, sending smoke and concern across the area. The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, says it's still unclear what started the fire, but they're warning persons living nearby to take extreme caution. Akeem Oret has the details.
It's another blow for residents in Cave, Westmoreland, a massive blaze tearing through sections of the community weeks after taking a battering from Hurricane Melissa. Coordinator of Watershed in the National Environmental and Planning Agency, David Reed, says the agency is unclear about what started the fire.
We may have persons who have gathered additional material, plastic, rubber, wood tires, debris, other material that contains chemicals that can easily become airborne and affect your respiratory system once you get caught in that the smoke stream from the fire. What may have led to this fire now, we're not sure, but given the nature of the cleanup activities is the fact that persons may have decided to just be putting debris together to clear the area, and they have started a fire that got out of control.
The National Environmental Planning Agency says the dry conditions with vegetation still brittle after the hurricane make the situation even more dangerous. The coordinator further notes those living in the vicinity of the fire should take great caution.
For those persons who are upwind of the fire, meaning wherever the wind direction is going towards, to try and create a fire break. A fire break is a buffer that is established between your property and the kindling material, which is downwood. So you're going to have trees that are falling, and those are material that the fire will consume rapidly because they're now dry.
Even as the fire continues to blaze, the agency is now concerned about air quality and wildlife, as they too are facing their own crisis.
They have taken a tremendous beating. A lot of persons are maybe just because you're not seeing birds. We have other animals that have been impacted severely, insects included. Those that would deal with pest control for you, the birds that would normally migrate into the area are no longer there, but the crops are not there and they don't have the resources to feed on. So a lot of those animals would have moved away, a lot will perish, unfortunately. But the fact is, we can do our best as persons that are environmental stewards and stewardship minded, is to avoid lighting open air fires.
In the meantime, Councillor for the Savannah Lamar Division is echoing the call, urging residents to be vigilant and play their part in protecting the community.
I'm urging residents to exercise extreme caution. Because of the recent weather, the trees have gone through heavy defoliation. The trees have been stripped, leaving the area extremely dry. A lot of dry bush and vegetation is scattered around, and it is now highly flammable. Even a small spark or a careless burning of any garbage can spark a major fire. Please, as we go about our daily lives, exercise caution. Be alert and let us keep our communities safe.
Akeem Oret, CVM News.
In the meantime, the Westmoreland Fire Department is also issuing a strong warning to residents. President of the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce, Moses Chaibar, has also raised concerns about the lighting of fires, describing the practice as very dangerous and life-threatening.
What I would encourage persons to do is be patient. It is a lot going on right now with the cleanup. It's a lot of debris and stuff to be removed. And we have a limited amount of garbage trucks. And so whilst we understand that it doesn't look good, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't smell good to have a lot of garbage around the place, but we can't resort to taking it into our own hands and lighting fire that we can't control because the risk is too great.
Now, a Montego Bay block manufacturer is this evening blaming the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project for floodwaters that destroyed his business. Kiefer Ramsing of the Block Mart says he believes that the nearby roadworks may have contributed to the flooding, but this has not been confirmed. As Carla Ramdeen now reports, he's calling on the government to step in and help him rebuild.
Blocks, machinery and debris remain scattered across the yard of the Block Mart. The owner, Kiefer Ramsing, is blaming the flooding on the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project.
I'm now 68, so I'm here 48 years, and nothing of this nature, never yet. Nobody did not disturb the water flow on the other side there. But there is some development that is taking place over there. The highway, excess material came down and restrict the flow of water. And I see they do a cross piece there that make a backup.
Mr. Ramsing says he has lost millions of dollars in materials and equipment. Losses he believes were preventable.
Plenty millions of dollars. The machine parts, all the sensors and all of those things, all the motor, they will have to scrap down, get them thoroughly dropped out, get water out before we can even think about calling JPS. The wire, coconut tree breakdown on the wire, break down the stanchion and everything. So, millions.
With his business now at a halt, Ramsing is making a direct appeal to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, asking for urgent help to rebuild.
Honorable Prime Minister, I'm calling upon you and your administration for help to rebuild this factory. I've supplied all the hotels from Iberia Star all the way down to the Pinnacles right now. All these hotels have contributed to it. The growth, the development of Montego Bay. I'm here 48 years and I need your help, sir. Please, I'm begging you.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
It's time for a break. More to come on CVM News at 7.
Black Friday starts early at Quartz with a whole week of deals from November 24 to 30 with up to 50% off store-wide. Furniture starting at $8,999, appliances starting at $19,999, and smart TV starting at $29,999. There is more! Shop on credit and make your first payment in January 2026. Don't miss out on a week of Black Friday deals at Quartz from November 24 to 30 with up to 50% off. Quartz, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these 4 boys dream of playing in the ISSA schoolboy football competitions.
Will you score this for Casey? Will you score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield. And that's what you love to see. They may be rivals, but the camaraderie is what it's all about. wait for the final.
When the bus the man, I want to watch my son play finals on CVM, you know.
But mums, you can't watch it on CVM website, man.
Score! My son score! My son score! My son score! My son score!
Greatness begins here.
Welcome back. We're continuing the news. A right-lane merge ended in disaster on a section of the busy Malines Road when a Toyota Probox motorcar attempting to cut across traffic collided with a Honda Grace traveling in the left lane. Eyewitnesses say another motorist had stopped to allow the Probox to cross, but the move was poorly timed, triggering a crash that brought traffic to a crawl and left bystanders shaken. The incident has renewed concerns about risky merging practices and driver impatience on Jamaica's roads. Help is on the way for the thousands of hospitality workers left unemployed and struggling after Hurricane Melissa. With the sector set to reopen on December 15, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says plans are now being rolled out to support those hardest hit. There are some 175,000 Jamaicans who earn their livelihood directly or indirectly from the tourism sector. Now, thousands of them have lost those very jobs and in many cases, their homes. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the government is allocating $600 million along with the private sector to create a fund of over $1 billion to support tourism workers, particularly with housing.
From the Tourism Enhancement Fund, we have put aside $500 million for the support of tourism workers, particularly for housing. There's $100 million that we're working through with another channel that I will speak more about later on as soon as the board confirms that yes, we can utilize it. And then the $400 million, which is coming from the sector itself. In fact, they have outdone that $400 million already.
And while employees are recovering, so too are employers. The government has not yet released an official estimate of the sector's damage, but early indications point to losses in the billions.
So we are expecting that there will be a stagger that will take us perhaps as far as mid-year. And so some of the properties will not be ready and consequently may have to look at varying options in relation to staff arrangements.
Minister Bartlett notes, however, that even with the sector still weeks away from reopening, bookings have already begun to rebound after the disruption caused by Hurricane Melissa.
Today we were at one of the properties that is having a 40% occupancy now, which is tremendous, given what has happened before. And so we're seeing that, and people are projecting up to 90% occupancy in some of the hotels by Christmas. So we are seeing an improvement in the booking levels, and also you know that today's booking window is much narrower than in the past. People are not booking 3 months and 6 months like before.
More local and international groups are stepping up support to help with the national recovery effort following Hurricane Melissa. At a press conference on Thursday, representatives from charity organizations, the private sector, international partners, and the Jamaica Defense Force outlined steps being taken to rebuild lives and restore communities. Akeem Oret was there.
During Thursday's press conference at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, stakeholders painted a picture of progress, but also highlighted the ongoing challenges that families across Jamaica are still facing. Director of Operations and Implementation at Food for the Poor, Nakli Hedo, says despite the obstacles, the organization remains committed to reaching those who need it most.
So far, Food for the Poor have actually deployed 24,000 food kits. This is supplemented with care kits, tarpaulins, flashlight, water boots, everything that a household is needed, everything. So we support not only the humanitarian assistance partners. We don't do the response ourselves, but also donors and persons that come. We facilitated the World Central Kitchen to be here timely to be able to provide over 1 million meals right across Jamaica.
Representing the private sector, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Employees Association, Catherine Silvera, underscored the importance of collaboration, noting that no single entity can rebuild the nation alone.
Beyond coordination, the JMA, PSOJ, and JCC combined our networks, our expertise, our resources, and our memberships to help fund donations through the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. I want to primarily highlight Grace Kennedy, who did a $20 million donation, Quality Incorporated, who did a $10 million donation of paper products, and there have been many, many others.
Country Director for the World Food Programme, Brian Bogart, says teams have been mobilized on the ground, especially in regions cut off by the storm's impact.
To this day, we have provided approximately 35,000 people with food assistance. And I must say that number is expected to increase to approximately 75,000 over the coming week. This is very critical and focused on those communities that are hardest hit by Hurricane Melissa in the parishes of St. Elizabeth, St. James, Westmoreland, and Trelawney. We will continue to provide this support over the coming weeks.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Defence Force says security and protection of citizens remain top priorities. Inspector General Colonel Anthony Gregory assured the public that vulnerable groups will not be left behind.
The coordinated efforts between the Ministry of Labor and Social Security and the JDF, united in this time of crisis, we're all committed in leaving no one behind. At the community distribution point, the JDF works again with MLSS to ensure that we are protecting the vulnerable, Minister, to ensure that we are reaching the elderly, to ensure that families with young children are prioritized.
Akeem Oret, CVM News.
It's time for a break, but stay with us more when we return.
Hurricane Melissa has left a trail of destruction behind. We now need the help of everyone to put our lives and livelihoods back together. Join us live on Sunday, November 23 at 1 p.m. for I Love Jamaica Telethon and virtual concert, and make your donation. Some of Jamaica's leading artists and personalities come together to appeal for donations to the Hurricane Melissa Recovery Fund. And your favorite artist or personality will be there, not just to entertain you, but to also answer the phones. Make sure to call and make your donation. 888-LOVE-JAM or 888-568-3526. I Love Jamaica Telethon and virtual concert, Sunday, November 23, 1 p.m. live right here on CVM TV. Help us to build back Jamaica stronger.
I want to represent the citizens of Jamaica. Jamaica love.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Welcome back. We're continuing the news. Farmers in St. Catherine are facing staggering losses in the wake of Hurricane Melissa. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green says the devastation on the ground is far worse than expected, wiping out crops, livestock, and months of hard work. As recovery efforts ramp up, Kevin Black has been following the minister's response and now joins us to tell us more.
There's widespread damage. I think, one of the things that people recognize is that a hurricane, a Category 5 hurricane in a small island like Jamaica.
The Minister of Agriculture, Floyd Green,
explains the stories coming from the fields are devastating. Farmers hit by Hurricane Melissa, especially those in St. Catherine, have lost acres of crops and vital livestock, forcing the government to accelerate support efforts to help them recover.
We still see a lot of losses, especially to our small chicken farmers. We still see a lot of loss to our vegetable lines. And we speak to people who would have lost their goats, things of that nature. Because when you have significant rainfall, when you have high winds, especially with crops like banana planting, you're going to suffer. So in this Geisel area, over 1,100 farmers we have accounted for that have suffered significant loss from Hurricane Melissa.
Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Northeastern, Kerencia Morrison, told our news team that requisite support is urgently needed for her constituency's farmers.
We're talking about loss of crops, loss of livestock, loss of poultry, the need for fertilizer, the need to rebuild the chicken house, the need to have more goats, more cows. What we need now in Northeastern St. Catherine is the support that will be able to subsidize costs, support that will assist them in fertilizing the field, support that will help them in restarting the poultry business, but certainly they are in a position to recover faster comparatively.
Meanwhile, Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Franklin Witter, explains that plans for rebuilding are in the works for the nation's farmers, specifically those in St. Catherine.
We would have had severe negative impact on the livestock, poultry, and indeed crop production. And therefore we are here today joining with the Member of Parliament to give support to our farmers. When you come into St. Catherine, to Northeast St. Catherine, you realize that in terms of agriculture, they would have been practically completely wiped out, as with other parishes.
Kevin Black for CVM News.
A young artist balances her raw talents and suggests a quick and easy meal that's filling too during these post-Melissa restrictions. Here's Curlin Brown with traditional flavors.
People always talk to me about my fingers, saying that they're short. I'm like, okay, don't have to make me. I can do my thing. So when I do my thing, I put it on a piece of paper and trust me. Or a plate.
And it's spicy.
It's spicy, like it's a work of art. Colors, how it's placed, the culinary part of it, everybody is wondering how I come about this. If I went to school for it and I'm like, no.
This is all natural.
All natural.
As natural as the waves she has felt on her many voyages working on a luxury adult-only cruise.
Have you ever encountered stormy seas out there?
Of course, stormy seas where you have a lot of motion sickness. Sometimes we have to report when we have like GI, and if we don't report, that can send you home. You understand? And it's so much. I remember when I went to Europe, I have to cross over for 10 days. And it wasn't easy to be in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. No family, no friend. We just coming over to go back to Miami. So it's not for the week. I work like 15, 16 hours for the day while I'm aboard, 7 days for the week. I can tell you the experience is lovely. It's not for the week, guys, but I can tell you in 2 years I've traveled to 73 countries.
When I took her to school in grade 1, the first day the principal gave her something to write, and she was writing her name. She writes everything fancy. Nothing is just flat. And the principal was, wow, what a great fist you have.
You know, everything on this earth is basically art, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Everything is art, whether food, clothes, you name it.
Well, with an innate gift of adding taste to her palette of art.
For persons right now who don't have water, they barely have food, but they're getting supplies, what would be a quick meal you'd recommend?
Due to the fact they don't have water, you know, I think they're giving out the care packages. You know, you have mackerel. You can turn that one mackerel in mackerel run down. It doesn't have to be the actual sawfish. You can put coconut milk. You can do a little fried dumpling with that. boil dumpling, or you can do season rice or regular plain rice, and you're good to go.
As good as what makes Jamaica's national dish stand out, even though Aki may be missing because of Hurricane Melissa, and the ability to turn around and make fashion.
I've never seen a Jamaican sunset, basically, and trust me, I love my country. So, instead of doing the regular sunset painting, why not turning it into the whole Jamaican color?
For traditional flavors, I am Curlin Brown.
More to come on CVM News at 7. Stay with us.
The new KFC Dorito Zinger, a combo that's finger-licking good. The time by KFC is
7:30. Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Hurricane Melissa has left a trail of destruction behind. We now need the help of everyone to put our lives and livelihoods back together. Join us live on Sunday, November 23 at 1 p.m. for I Love Jamaica Telethon and virtual concert, and make your donation. Some of Jamaica's leading artists and personalities come together to appeal for donations to the Hurricane Melissa Recovery Fund. And your favorite artist or personality will be there, not just to entertain you, but to also answer the phones. Make sure to call and make your donation. 888-LOVE-JAM or 888-568-3526. I Love Jamaica Telethon and virtual concert, Sunday, November 23, 1 p.m. live, right here on CVM TV. Help us to build back Jamaica stronger.
I want to represent the citizens of Jamaica.
Welcome back to CVM News at 7. Ronaldo Adams now joins us for a preview what's coming up later on in sports. Ronaldo?
Good evening, Amoy, and good evening, viewers. So, Amoy, one of the biggest talking points coming out of the Reggae Boys is disappointing 0-0 draw with Curaçao on Tuesday evening was what's the future for the then head coach, Steve McLaren. He subsequently resigned following that match, and in sports, in just a few minutes, we will reveal who the man who will be taking over will be, but on an interim basis. More in sports.
I'm not a sports fan, and even I am excited to hear that name. All
See it happen.
All right, so that's sports in just a few minutes. When the winds howl and the floods rise, the only thing standing between families and financial ruin is a policy written in ink. As the hurricane season draws to a close, one insurance expert is warning homeowners to be prepared. Crystal Williams has the details.
Jamaicans looking to rebuild after Hurricane Melissa, insurance consultant Jeffrey Major says for people who have insurance, there are major policy conditions to focus on.
One of the first ones is notifying the insurance company. So under the duties of an insured, your first responsibility is to protect the property from further damage. The second is to notify your insurance company. There is a nuance there, which is some policies say you must notify them in writing. So check your policy, read that part. If it says notify them in writing, send them an email.
He says, technically, if the person has insurance coverage, the company should pay for the damages. But conditions apply. For example, the insurance company should receive the full claim in 30 days unless otherwise agreed in writing.
So you should make sure that you read your policy and identify or ask your agent, am I supposed to have a claim given to them in 30 days? Because it's likely you're not going to be able to in 30 days, so you would like an extension in writing. Ask for 90 days or 120 days, and that'll give you enough time.
The next question to ask your insurance agent is what they owe you.
You want to speak to your insurance professionals, your adjuster that comes out, and ask him, are you insured to the right value? Is he going to apply the average, and is there going to be a penalty? What a lot of people don't understand is when they're getting their insurance settlement, let's say it's $600,000 of settlement, if you didn't have the right insurance, you may only be getting a percentage of that.
He says debris removal and other additional costs should also be considered in the settlement.
Once you have this established, you want to look at all the additional things in your coverage, debris removal, ordinance and law for code, to comply with code, and a bunch of other things that are in your individual policy that give you betterments, and then your exclusions. So you want to make sure you identify what's not covered in your policy. That way, when you do get a settlement, you understand it better and you can know what you're entitled to.
He cautions that increased post-hurricane prices will not be considered by the insurance company.
After Melissa, some prices are going up. That surge doesn't get calculated in the average. It doesn't get calculated in a penalty. It's what was the cost to build when you bought your policy, because that determines that you have the right insurance or not the higher prices after the fact.
Crystal Williams, CVM News.
To news now overseas, Lebanon's Prime Minister Nawaf Salam says plans to demilitarize the south of the country are on track, with the Lebanese army expanding its presence there, particularly near the border with Israel. But the Israeli army says otherwise, accusing Hezbollah of re-establishing its military infrastructure in the area. More details from Al Jazeera.
Ali Sayed takes us to his house to show the world it is not a military site. We are in the southern Lebanon town of Beit Leaf. This is a family living in fear with no other place to go. Their home was marked on a map the Israeli army posted on social media as a military site belonging to Hezbollah.
These are all false accusations. There are no weapons here. We are waiting for the Lebanese army to search it.
In the town square, the Lebanese army arrived after Israel threatened to attack dozens of homes. UN peacekeepers are also here. The army, too, is under pressure to speed up efforts to disarm Hezbollah. We followed the soldiers to one of the locations. We saw army soldiers along with UN peacekeepers search a home, but we were not allowed to film. This is what Israel had demanded.